Welcome to East Bay Church of Religious Science, where spirit abounds, love overflows, and spiritual transformation begins. Welcome.
When I lost my direction, direction. God's the compass for my way. God is the fire and light when the nights are long and cold. In my sadness, God's the laughter that shatters all my fears. When I'm all alone, God's there with his hand to hold. Oh, my God is the center of my joy. All that's good and perfect comes to me. God's the source of my contentment, hope for all I do. Spirit is the center of my joy.
Spirit is the center of my joy.
Hope for all I do. Spirit is the center of my joy.
When I've lost my direction, when I'm feeling alone, Spirit is the light that guides me back to myself. For there is only the one life of Spirit, the one life of God, and that life is my life as well. It is the life of each and every one of us. It is the life of each and every person, each and every spirit, each and every soul in this body or on to the next plane. For there is no disconnect. There is no separation. There is only God in, through, and within all things. So I bless this service. I know that this service is already blessed. As I know that this building is already blessed, as I know this church is already blessed. For I know that as prayers go up, blessings come down. So I am standing in a pool of blessings, held up by this community, by our board of trustees, by our practitioners, by our members, by our ministers, and by all of you. And for this, I am grateful. I am grateful, I am thankful, as I am centered in the Spirit, which is God. So I release, I let go, and I allow God to continue to be God, now and forevermore, and so it is.
Spirit is the center of my joy. All that's good and perfect comes to me. God's the source of my contentment, hope for
center of my joy. I can hear my dear sister practitioner singing that for me right now. And so welcome, welcome East Bay. Welcome to the very last Sunday in 2020. We made it. We made it, and it is good and very good. And though this season is not over, this is the time to prepare for a renewal of our souls and of our spirit. Let us begin by reciting our community affirmation. God is the only power in my life. We will recite this in unison. God is the only power in my life. Nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. No past experience has power over me. I am a perfect child of God, and nothing that anyone has ever done or said can interfere with my divine inheritance. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. The strength of God is mine to use, turning away from all feelings of inadequacy. I discover that all that I need is within me right now. As I forgive the past, I find that I have nothing to atone for and nothing to run away from. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. I take dominion in my life. Old habits have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me. Personalities have no power over me. I take dominion. I am whole. I am free. I am complete, now and forevermore. And so it is. Yes. And so it is. Yes. And at this moment, please review our community announcements as they appear on your screen. For viewing our announcements. If you have missed any of them, please go to our website at ebcrs.org, or you can look at us at our Facebook page. So, at this time, it is my delight to introduce to you our speaker. Our speaker today is no stranger to East Bay. She is our sister in spirit, our friend, our holder of peace, and our guide through the storm, our practitioner, Arlene King. And in this moment, we're going to hear from our musical inspiration, which today will come from the anointed voices of New Day, featuring Lisa Bayless, Regina Woods, Daryl Thompson on drums, and our own choir angel and musical director, Vanessa Wynn. Here is New Day.
This song is for Yemen Jah, who has ascended and now has become one of our ancestors. We love you. We're going to miss you. Listen now. Something woke me up this morning, well, this morning. Something woke me up this morning. It must have been, it had to be, I know it was the hand of the Lord, yeah.
Oh, something woke me up this morning. This morning, something Something woke me up this morning. It must have been, it had to be, I know it was the hand of the Lord. Something woke me up this morning. This morning. Well, something woke me up this morning. It must have been, it had to be, I know it was the hand of the Lord. Something woke me up this morning. This morning. This morning. Something woke me up this morning. It must have been, it had to be, I know it was the hand of the Lord. Who told my heart to beat while I was fast asleep? Who kept me safe every night and day, restoring me? Who wakes me up and gives me love that's so complete? And every obstacle, it gives to me the victory. Something dried my tears this morning. This morning. This morning. Something dried my tears this morning. It must have been, it had to be, I know it was the hand of the Lord. While I was crying, I was still testifying that something woke me up this morning. Something woke me up. 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 It must have been. It had to be. I know it was. It must have been. It had to be. I know it was. It must have been. It had to be. I know it was. The hand of the Lord. With Andrea Brimry on solo. That was a powerful rendition of Something Woke Me Up This Morning. And today I want to give thanks for all that's happened in 2020 with our community. And today our focus is about community, loving one another, knowing that our love carries us and it carries this community. There are a few people I'd like to thank, especially the members and community of East Bay, for your resilience, for your continued support through love, connection, and community. I'd also like to acknowledge Reverend Eloise Oliver in Merida for her 25 plus years of service to our community. I like to call her the teacher of many. We love and appreciate you, Reverend E. I'd like to acknowledge Reverend Francione, who stepped in as our interim minister. She brings a great deal of wisdom and love to our community. You can call her and she typically has an answer. I'd like to give a big shout out to Reverend Derica Blackman. Ever since I've known her, her answer's always been yes to East Bay. She has a powerful presence around sacred activism, but she consistently uses it to connect our hearts and our souls and make us think and wonder and take action. I'd like to give thanks to our ecclesiastical team, Reverend Anthony, Reverend Badia, Reverend Gill, and Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards. Again, they are available for us as we need them and when we need them. I'd like to give a special shout out to our practitioners. Our practitioners pray at least 5 days a week, where you can tap into their prayers, starting at 8 o'clock on Monday mornings through Friday at 8 o'clock. They also are available for a midday meditation Monday through Friday. So what a powerful praying arm that we have in place. I want to give thanks to our community outreach ministry and our community partners of Faces who consistently give back to the community through food, through blessing baskets, whatever they can give to lift up those who are seemingly challenged. Opportunities to continue to live out our mission of transforming the planet, and that's done through love and consideration. I'd like to give a huge thank to our tech team of Brett Richards, JJ Harris, and Byron Hoffman. These guys are here every week making these services available to you, and I humbly appreciate them. I love them and their commitment to our community. And my favorite ministry, and I'm going to call it out, the music ministry, under the leadership of Vanessa Wynn, our musical director, Tyrone Cozy, who leads the men's chorus, Sharon Henderson, who leads the women's chorus, and all of our choir members who are watching. They may not be able to join us in person, but we hear their voices, we feel their souls and their hearts. So I give thanks. I give thanks. So at this moment, I'm going to call on Vanessa to bless us with what I call our COVID anthem. Give us this day.
According to your riches, I have but to ask, and I shall receive. I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you give to me, to someone who's lost, and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me. Yes, be free like me, Lord. Oh Lord, we need you. Surely, surely, surely do, Lord. Every day we need your joy. This day.
Thank you, Vanessa, for that wonderful song. Give Us This Day is a song of hope, faith, and love. And we've heard it here a few times during our tech prep for church. And one Sunday, I believe it was about the 6th month of COVID, it was just a heavy feeling in this room. I don't know what it was. Maybe we were all just feeling COVID fatigue, as they say, but we were off a little bit. So Vanessa started to play Give Us This Day. She sang it like I'd never heard her sing it before. And what she sang healed the room. There were tears flowing, Kleenex being shared amongst us, boxes of Kleenex, just I could see them moving around the room. And that moment was transformative for our tech team, which includes JJ and Brett, the music ministry, the speakers, practitioners. It was just transformative because in my mind, it felt like we all saw hope. We had the faith that things would get better, and we had the love that we shared amongst each other. So that in itself is a testimony of how we allow Spirit to move to and through us, how we allow Spirit to get us out of our own way, how we allow Spirit to transform whatever is going on at the moment into something really beautiful and wonderful. The song today, again, the transformation, tears of joy, tears of relief, possibly. I don't know, but the room was healed with this music. So today my topic is about we're in this love together. And it's a topic around hope, faith, and love, coming to and from the East Bay Church family. I believe it's important at this time of COVID because I see the end in sight. I see hope in sight. I have the faith to know that something's going to change. I don't know how, but I know it will. And I have the love of myself and this community and the world that will carry us forward. I've had some time with COVID myself over this past 10 months, a lot of reflection, and I'm amazed at how I've gone back in my life to look at things that I've done and how I've done them, how I've been influenced, and how I've influenced others. I think about my beginnings of church from a child to now. And there were periods of time where we just went to church to go to church and it was fun to hang out. And then there were periods of time where we were in church and nothing really made sense. Nothing really resonated with me. And I like to tell the story about my sisters and I. We were in Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church, which is a few blocks down from here at 16th and Telegraph. 16th and Martin Luther King. And we were in the midst of a wonderful community, but it had its generational gaps, if you will. There were the young children who were under 10, and then there were these wise elders who were over 60. And my sisters and I were in our 20s, mid-20s, and there really wasn't a place for us. There really wasn't a place where we could connect and fellowship and get to know people of our own age. Consequently, we were disruptive, distracting, not necessarily intentional, but that's how we were expressing ourselves at the time. And I can imagine any 20-year-old who's sitting in a room with that divide, there's something going to show up. So one day, one of the mothers of the church came to my mom and said, "You need to get a handle on your daughters." And I'm sure my mom was taken aback by it, but her response was, "We need to create something for them here. They come every week, but they don't fit in. There's nothing that's in place for my daughters. They come because I asked them to." So over a few months after that, I would say maybe it's probably a year, I'm saying months, but it was a long time before someone approached me. And it was Deacon Harris. He was the gentlest man. I loved him and his wife just because of who they are. He came to me and he said, "Sister Arlene, we have something we want you to do." And I said, "What would that be?" Because we joked like that. He says, "We want you to come and lead our young adults, our youth, our teens, those that are getting ready to be your age. We want you to share your story and educate them on the power of God, because I know you have it in you. You know what that is." So I sat with that for a minute, standing there looking at him, and I go, "Let me get back to you." So a few weeks went by, and he said, "Have you thought about it some more?" And I said, "Yeah, I thought about it. And what does that mean for me? What do you need for me to do to be able to fulfill this task that you're assigning me?" He said, "A couple things. You need to learn what happens around here at the church. You need to understand how this church operates. The second piece is you need to get engaged in our Wednesday night Bible study." I was okay with understanding how the church worked, but Bible study was a little something that I was challenged with because I knew I would probably be the youngest one attending, and I would have a lot of questions that probably would irritate people, but they had to be okay with that if that's what they wanted me to do. So my first experience was to go and learn what happens at the church. And Pilgrim Rest, when I think about it today, was pretty progressive. Every day they offered lunch to whoever wanted to come in. And in that neighborhood, there were many diverse cultures and people, and everybody came for lunch. So the first day I went, they said, "Get here at 7. We want you to see what happens and how we set up and how we go and just be in the flow." So I went at 7, and it was such the beautiful comedy of eras, if you will. We had a group who were handling the prep. We had the mothers who were making the food, and then we had this laughing crowd. They were full of jokes and just a bunch of humor. And I was like, what is this? But as the morning went on, I saw how they all gelled together. I saw how they came together in community and to make this perfect meal for those who needed it and who wanted it. So as people started to show up that day, there was a line out the gate and around the corner. And I was like, wow, is all this food going to serve all these people? And Deacon Harris goes, yeah, just watch, just watch. So as people came in, there was an ask. To enter the space, you had to, 1, be in agreement to be respectful of others. 2, you had to clean up after yourself. 3, if you had it, you would donate a quarter for your lunch that day. And if you didn't have that, we would find a way to put you in service to use your gifts. That service could have been cleaning up. It could have been straightening up the room after lunch was served. It could have been some handy work needed around the church. It could have been whatever gift you brought that day. So people obviously could navigate to the cleanup piece, but there's some people who thought they had more to give. And what ended up happening over a period of time, and we had this amazing sanctuary that had a piano and an organ. And there were people who had gifts that could play those instruments and sing. So sometimes after lunch, we'd have a jam session. And that was the way people gave back. And as they gave back, you could see the joy inside of them, the gifts that they brought to the church and to the community. And every day, somebody would come back with something new. And it just became a way of life for me. I enjoyed getting there, seeing what was going to unfold. So that was my one way of learning something that was going on in the church. What the mission was to make sure everybody felt welcome and there was a place for them to give back. Sort of how we do it at East Bay. The second part of my journey was to go to Bible study. Bible study was an interesting piece of my week because you couldn't be late. If you were late, there were some things you would have to do, such as cleaning, which I don't like to do. And then you were responsible for praying and holding vigil, as we call it today, and you were not engaged actually in the lesson. You listened, which wasn't always bad. It's always good to listen. I understand that. Our first lesson that was delivered to me was from the book of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, when it talked about our spiritual gifts. It was chapter 12, verse 3 to 13. And as I listened to how that was broken down so that I could understand it, because I do believe they changed this Wednesday night service so that we're not speaking in Bible talk, but talk that I could understand, layman's talk. So I want to share with you the spiritual gifts coming from 1 Corinthians 12 and 3 through 13. I'm going to read verses 4 through 11. God's various gifts are handed out everywhere, but they originate from the Spirit of God. God's various ministries are carried out everywhere, but they originate from the Spirit of God. God's various expressions of power and action are everywhere, but the Spirit is behind it all. Each person is giving something to show who God is in their lives. Everyone gets it on their level, and benefits everyone. So what we get benefits everyone. All kinds of things are handed out by the Spirit to all kinds of people, and the variety is wonderful. For me, that's really resonating because here at East Bay Church, that's what we talk about now. God is all there is. God is in each one of us. We are a divine expression of God. And I got that many years ago, and I was able to really embody it when I came here. Really to sit with it and do what this scripture says. So that was my first introduction to many gifts. And there are things that many of us have, more than one talent. And I encourage you, as you go through into 2021, think of what your gift is. What are you willing to share beyond the normal? Because I know inside of you there's something more that's calling for your purpose. The second verse that I want to refer to is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 14, and the message is around love. And you all have probably seen this about the spirit of love, the way of love, how love shows up. And when I talk about our hope, faith, and love, love is the strongest power. Love is what we're given, and we can give back at any time without question, without doubt, without fear. We just allow it to be, and love will flow. So in the Corinthians 13, 1 and 14, I'll just say a few. Love never gives up. Love cares more about others than self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love trusts. Love doesn't have a swelled head. It doesn't force itself on others. It isn't always me first. Love doesn't fly off the handle. Love doesn't keep score. Love doesn't revel when others grovel. Love, however, takes power in flowering the truth, puts up with anything, trusts God always looks for the best, never looks back, but always keeps going till the end. Hope, faith, and love. This is how we show up at East Bay. This is how we show up in our lives. But it's a great reminder for the end of the year, because as crazy as things look, love will lead the way. So once I got through all of my classes and learning about the church, they put me with a bunch of young people. And as I thought I knew everything and I could go in and handle this group of young people, it wasn't that easy at first. Because I started off with these two verses in Corinthians. And the first day there were 8 students, evenly balanced, young men and young women, and they were obviously testing me out, trying to see what I know, what I've been. And they challenged me with all kinds of questions that had nothing to do with what we were studying. They wanted to know about me. How did I get here? Why am I here? What's in this for you? All these things. So over time, I had to build up trust in them. So as we went through this getting to know each other period, I broke out Corinthians 13, and I talked to them about their gifts. So what do you bring? What can you bring to this circle of young people to empower them and to empower yourself? And I gave them an assignment, and they left with that on that day. And when they came back the following Sunday, it was pretty amazing what they came up with, because that they were doing their homework. They came up with, why don't we create something for us and invite our friends to this? Why don't we create something that talks about our experiences in life and how the transformation and the power of God can shift it to how we want it to be? My gift is communication. My gift is storytelling. My gift is math. My gift is science. My gift is helping others. So we came up with this young group of people who were bringing their gifts together, the gifts that they wanted to bring, not what someone asked them to bring. And over time, that ministry grew and grew and grew and grew. And what we were able to attract is young ministers, senior ministers who were wanting to engage in this birth of this new life within this community. We had Reverend Ray Jones, who's down in Fremont, still a friend to this day. He and his wife came into the church and they just lit it up. Dr. Leroy Gainey, who's at seminary in San Francisco, again, he and his family came into the church and lit it up. And all this was happening, and I was like, oh my God, what have we created here? Excited about it, but it seemed like it happened so fast and it got so big that we couldn't manage it. So I went back to Deacon Harris and I was like, look, we need some more people to handle these young people that are coming in. Let's have some type of revival, a renewal period, so that everybody can come in and see what we're doing. So he agreed to that, along with the other deacons and the minister of the church at the time. And we were able to create this wonderful 3-day weekend of young people, and the transformation of their friends and their friends' friends, it was just huge. So that's something I can really say I'm proud of. With my early resistance of it, I am proud of how we were able to move from Arlene out of resistance to acceptance and to gratitude. So today, still, I'm engaged with those young people, that original 8. Many have gone on to do amazing things in their lives. We have one of our young people was this teacher who was nominated for Teacher of the Year through Ebony Magazine a few years ago. We have doctors, lawyers, deacons, ministers. All this has come out of this community by my willingness to release whatever I thought was and accept and be open to what was new. So when I talk about we're in this love together, it's the kind that lasts forever. You know, that's an El Jarreau song, and it's a beautiful love song, and I bless the person who's on the other side of his love. But we're in this East Bay together. We have a perfect opportunity for us to grow and expand however we want to for 2021. But before we do that, I would like for you to consider the things positive that COVID has revealed to you. Have you spent more time with people on the phone? Have you Zoomed yourself out, but you've gotten comfortable with Zoom where it's okay to get on and talk about life? Have you taken the time to write a note or a letter thanking someone? Have you taken the time to acknowledge those that have been taken away from us by this terrible virus and their families? There's always something that we can give and always something that we can do. For me, I'm going to take the moments of reflection and cast those into 2021. One of the biggest experiences I had in the corporate world was right before we shut down for the holidays, as my team came together and we spent an hour talking about what we're grateful for. I thought that was pretty amazing. It's probably one of the best meetings we've had ever. And I believe we should do that more often. It just doesn't have to be because it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's every day. As I close today, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Ernest Holmes, found in Living the Science of Mind on page 267. And it reads, "Love is a feeling. Faith is the key to use this feeling. Love has nothing in it that could hurt anything. Faith has nothing in it that can deny any good. This is our starting point, a love that cannot hurt and a faith that will not be denied." So as we go forward, we're in this love together. Our hope is trusting the steadiness of God and loving extravagantly, knowing that love and faith guide the way. And so it is. So I give thanks for our time together today. I give thanks for the love within me. I give thanks for the love that Spirit has given to all of us. I am grateful, so very grateful. So in this truth right now, I know that there's only one life. That life is God. It's whole, perfect, and complete. It's showing up as me, as you, as all of us, our many members with one body. So as I bless this day, bless the words spoken, bless the songs sang, bless our time together, I know that if there's a challenge with finances, that's done. If there's a challenge with healing your body, that's done. If there's a challenge, an opportunity with relationships, know that those are healed as well. Knowing that the right and perfect career is right there in front of you. Open up your heart to receive the good that the universe is always giving. So for this, I give thanks and so much more. I allow it to be. I release, I let it go, and I let God.
Keep your hand upon me where no enemy can harm me. Sunshine and rain, sickness and pain, God, I humbly come to you. Enlarge my territory, God, won't you enlarge? Enlarge my territory, oh God, please enlarge my territory. Bless me indeed. I pray for increase. Bless me indeed. I pray for increase. Bless me indeed. I pray for increase.
So I'm giving thanks as it's time for gracious giving. I know that we've all been truly blessed throughout this year, knowing that East Bay has shown up, and I like to say shown out, when it comes to our prosperity consciousness. So I'm thanking you in advance now for your gifts, and I encourage you to consider one thing I ask for the end of the year. As we go into the new year, make a commitment to give on a regular basis. Set it up online. Drop it in. You can see on the screen there ways to give, but I'm asking that we set up reoccurring giving, meaning that the church will receive your gift, you'll receive your gift back, and we can plan for the future, plan for 2021. That's my ask for you. So with the gracious giving, I bless the gift, the giver, the intention, knowing that all of our needs are met, knowing that there is nothing we can't have. In fact, we already have it all. So for that, I give thanks. I allow it to be, and so it is. So East Bay, Happy New Year to you. The next time we come together will be a new year, a new season, a new everything. And for that, I'm grateful. I am so grateful for going into a new year with a new attitude and a new intention. So the music ministry will leave us with their final song, Together. And as I started off earlier, we're in this love together. So Together by New Day. I bless you, I give thanks for you, and I praise God for you. So it is.
This is for the bus. This is for the busted heart. This is for the question marks. This is for the outcast soul, lost control, no one knows. Sing it for the can't go back. Sing it for the broken past. Sing it for the just found out life is now upside down. If you're looking for hope tonight, raise your hand. If you're living alone and don't understand, and if you're fighting for the fight of your life, then stand. We're gonna make it through this hand in hand. And if we fall, we will fall together. Together, and when we rise, we will rise together. Together. If you're looking for hope tonight, raise your hand. If you're feeling alone and don't understand, if you're fighting for the fight of your life, then stand. We're gonna make it through this hand in hand. And if we fall, we will fall together. Together. And when we rise, we will rise together. Together. Together, we are dangerous. Together, with our differences. Together, we are bolder, braver, stronger. Ashe.